If you've watched a couple of my videos, you might have seen this background quite a few times as well. And because the channel just hit 1,000 subscribers, I thought I'd take you backstage for a change, give you a little tour of my game room, and show you how I make my videos. Let's get right into it.
So when we enter the room, the first thing you'll see on your left is this table with a white tablecloth over it. And this is the place that I use for my studio shots. So if I ever need a close-up of like a game, a console, or a figure, I just put them over there, and with the ring light I can still get a pretty good image, even though the camera quality of my phone is not very good. Then we are moving on to the main entertainment station of the room, which is this TV with a whole lot of consoles hooked up to it. So this TV is a little old. It's not modern by any means, but it has a lot of ports, and none of the consoles here can output higher than 1080p, so that really isn't a big problem. So hooked up to this TV, we've got a Nintendo Switch, a little box that I can use to watch TV. We also have a GameCube and a Wii with a little 3D printed Donkey Kong statue on top of it, which looks pretty cool. Then down here we also have a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 3, and a PlayStation 4. And then in this drawer we've got a whole bunch of cables, because that's the unfortunate reality of being a gaming YouTuber. I need a lot of HDMI cables, because the things I use to record are all HDMI based. So I've got this little HDMI capture card that I bought for like 20 bucks. Then an HDMI splitter and a lot of HDMI converters. Then we're moving on to the main bookcase of the room that is stacked to the brim with gaming related stuff. On top we've got a whole bunch of Skylanders. This isn't the entire collection, but this whole collection gives the room a lot more life, I'd say. Then we've got all these little squares filled with games. In the first one we have my PS1 game collection, which is very small, but I don't use the PlayStation 1 a lot, so that's why it's not that big. Then we also have the PS2 games. This collection is a little bit bigger, because, well, my dad bought a lot of them back in the day, and I added some extra titles to that. Here we've got the PS3 collection, which isn't all too big, because I've owned it for less than a year. But we have the Skylanders games over here that I used, of course, for my big Skylanders video that I recently uploaded. Then over here we have the PS4 games. The PS4 is probably my favorite console of all time. That was my main from like 2016 all the way to 2022. But as you can see, we also have got some PlayStation 5 games here. But the PS5 isn't located here, because for that we have to go downstairs. And this is the place where I record all my voiceovers, edit my videos, and play PS5 games. So over here we have the PlayStation 5, lovely console, been using it a lot lately. And then we also have my laptop here, which is from Lenovo. Some people ask me what editor I use, and well, there you have it. I use CapCut for all my videos because, well, it's free and it's still a pretty solid editor. Then we also have this Quad HD monitor by MSI, which is very nice for editing and also for gaming. Here we've got my microphone, which is the Amita by Trust, I believe. I own this thing for a long time already, so I kind of forgot exactly what it is. A cheap gaming mouse on a Mario mouse mat, and of course the two play buttons, one for 100 subscribers, and of course this new one for 1000. And yeah, that's pretty much this whole setup. Let's go back upstairs. So back up here we've got the GameCube games. This is one of my favorite collections. I love buying games for the GameCube, but unfortunately they've gotten pretty expensive, so I don't have too many of them. But then we're moving over to my biggest gaming collection, which are the Wii games. I've owned the Wii for a very long time now, and over the years I've collected quite a few of them. Still not the biggest, but most of the titles that I really want to play I already own, so in that case the collection is good enough for me. Then we have this little square that's filled with portals and traps. It's a bit messy, but we don't mind. Then over here we've got the handhelds. I've got a 2DS, a DSi, and an Mi2, which is a very weird handheld that I don't really use anymore. Then we have the PlayStation 1. I don't really use this one all too much anymore because I can also play the games on my PS2. And next to it, we have an ASCII-ware arcade stick that looks like the PlayStation 1, which is also a very cool collectible. And then finally, over here we have all my handheld games, so the DS games, the 2DS games, or 3DS games, and the Switch games. And then on the bottom here we've got a whole bunch of stuff that I don't really use, like extra cables, PC games, all that sort of stuff, but that's not really important. Then over here we have an extra TV for if a friend ever wants to bring their console. It's not that high quality, but it's good enough. And then over here we have the couch, which is a very comfortable place to sit and play some video games. And above it, we have a record player with some extra Skylanders figures. We've got a plant. It's fake, but it gives some life to the room. His name's Bob. He's chill. I think everyone should have a little plant in their room because it just makes it a lot more homey. Then, this is the final part of my Skylanders collection. These are all the Skylanders Giants figures and the new cores introduced in Skylanders Giants. So, this is probably my favorite part because it's actually a complete little collection. And then finally, over here we have a signed record by one of my favorite artists. Exploding Kittens, one of my favorite card games. Some gaming related plushies. And then down here we have a little mini bar with a PlayStation light on top of it. It's currently not running because it's empty, but I might put some drinks in it again soon. And the very last thing in the room are these displays. I've got one from Final Fantasy and one of Persona 5. Unfortunately, one fell down because the adhesive started to melt. So I'm still figuring out what to do with that one, but it looks a little stupid now, but we'll manage. And that actually was the entire room. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers because that's an incredible milestone and we're already approaching 200 at this point. So once again, thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.